Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you've ever felt a quiet pull from a woman that left you uneasy, like something unsaid was pressing on your chest, this is for you. I'm a psychologist, and I need you to listen closely, because the signs I'm about to unpack are subtle, psychological, and often invisible to men who rush. Before we begin, take a second to like this video and subscribe, because what we talk about here isn't surface dating advice. It's understanding the emotional language most men were never taught to read. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When a woman secretly craves a man, she rarely announces it, she protects it. Desire for her is dangerous if exposed too early, so it leaks out sideways, through behaviors that look confusing unless you know what to watch for. The first hidden sign is not flirtation, it's restraint. When she wants you, she often pulls back at the exact moment you expect her to lean in. That hesitation isn't disinterest, it's self-control battling attraction. Notice how she listens to you. Not politely, not passively, but with an intensity that makes you feel slightly examined. She remembers small emotional details, not facts. How something made you feel, what frustrates you, what drains you. This is not accidental. A woman who craves you studies the emotional doorway into you, because that's where connection lives. You may also sense a strange rhythm in her communication. She appears available, then suddenly quiet. Men often misread this as games. It isn't. It's regulation. When desire grows, so does her need to regain balance. Silence becomes how she cools herself down. Another quiet sign is how she reacts to other women around you, not jealousy. Theatrics, micro shifts, a change in tone, a pause before she speaks. Her body tightens, then releases. She's measuring her emotional stake without revealing it. Understand this clearly. Craving is not about sex first. It's about emotional permission. When she secretly wants you, she's deciding whether you are safe enough to want, and every move she makes is a test you don't even know you're taking. Stay present, slow your reactions, and remember that the strongest signals are felt, not chased. Master this awareness, and you'll notice how attraction grows when pressure disappears, confidence settles, and emotional leadership replaces neediness, proving why understanding psychology always outperforms force. Trust that process, always. Now, the second hidden sign lives in contradiction, and most men miss it because they expect desire to be loud. When a woman secretly craves you, she challenges you more than she comforts you. She questions your opinions, pushes back gently, even disagrees when it would be easier to agree. This isn't resistance. This is investment. She is testing the strength of your emotional spine. Women do not test men they feel nothing for. They test the ones who matter. Watch how she responds when you stay calm under that pressure. If you don't explain yourself defensively, if you don't try to win her approval, something shifts in her eyes. Respect grows. And respect is the soil where craving roots itself. Another sign appears in vulnerability, but not the obvious kind. She won't dump her trauma on you. Instead, she reveals controlled cracks, small truths, stories with emotional weight but clean edges. She's checking if you can hold space without trying to fix her. A woman who desires you wants to feel emotionally seen, not managed. Pay attention to timing. She reaches out when she's emotionally regulated, not when she's bored. That's critical. Men mistake late-night messages as desire. Real craving shows up during clarity, not distraction. She wants to associate you with stability, not escape. There's also a physical cue that's rarely discussed. Her body mirrors your emotional state, not your movements. If you slow down, she slows. If you become grounded, she softens. This subconscious synchronization only happens when her nervous system feels drawn to yours. Chemistry isn't fireworks, it's resonance. You might notice she asks questions that seem oddly specific, not about your job, but about your values, your boundaries, how you handle disappointment. She's not being curious. She's imagining life proximity. Desire for a woman includes imagining emotional consequences. Here's the part men struggle with. When she wants you, she may act less available, not to manipulate you, but to protect herself from wanting you too much. This is where impatient men fail. They push, they chase clarity, and by doing so, they force her to shut the door she was slowly opening. Craving deepens in safety, not pressure. If you can remain steady without demanding reassurance, She feels permission to lean closer internally. And once a woman craves you internally, her external behavior will eventually align. Desire always surfaces, but only when it feels safe enough to breathe. The third hidden sign is emotional prioritization, and it's subtle enough that it feels invisible unless you know where to look. When a woman secretly craves you, she begins to place your emotional state above her convenience. She notices when your energy is off before you say a word. She adjusts her tone, her pace, even the depth of the conversation to match where you are. This is not kindness. This is attachment forming quietly. You'll notice she brings you into her internal world without making an announcement. She shares decisions she hasn't made yet, thoughts she hasn't organized. This is a powerful indicator. Women only do this with men whose opinions matter emotionally. If she didn't care, she'd present conclusions, not uncertainty. Another overlooked sign is how she reacts to your boundaries. A woman who doesn't desire you will push or ignore them. A woman who craves you becomes more careful around them. She may even test them lightly, then observe how you respond. If you hold your boundary without anger or apology, her respect deepens. Respect fuels attraction more than charm ever could. Listen to how she speaks about time. She doesn't say someday or maybe. She references future moments casually, without commitment language. A shared coffee, a conversation she wants to continue later. These are emotional bookmarks. She's extending the connection forward in her mind. You may also feel a strange emotional gravity. Conversations with her feel heavier, slower, more intentional. Silence doesn't feel awkward. It feels loaded. That's because she's emotionally present. Presence is the currency of craving. Here's something most men misunderstand. If she sometimes appears emotionally distant after a strong connection moment, that's not loss of interest. That's integration. Women process desire internally before expressing it externally. She needs to feel her emotions settle before she can safely continue. Watch for how she protects the connection. She avoids unnecessary conflict. She clarifies misunderstandings quickly. She doesn't let emotional static linger. This isn't because she's afraid to lose you. It's because she values emotional continuity. Understand this. Craving is not dramatic. It's deliberate. It's quiet alignment. If you're paying attention, you'll feel it in how she shows up consistently, without demanding anything in return. That consistency is the loudest confession she'll ever make without words. The fourth hidden sign shows up in how she handles power. And this is where psychology becomes uncomfortable. When a woman secretly craves you, she stops trying to control the outcome. She doesn't rush definitions. She doesn't corner you with emotional demands. Instead, she allows space. Space is not distance. Space is trust in potential. Notice how she reacts when you don't immediately respond, or when plans shift. If she remains emotionally steady, not cold, not performative, that's a sign of internal security mixed with desire. She's regulating herself because she doesn't want to contaminate the connection with anxiety. Another sign appears in how she speaks about other men. She doesn't compare you loudly. She doesn't overshare attention she receives elsewhere. Instead, she downplays it, not to manipulate you, but because emotionally, you're becoming the reference point. When craving forms, external validation loses its shine. You'll also notice a change in her emotional risk tolerance. She says things that could be misunderstood. She allows moments of awkward honesty. This is significant. Emotional risk only feels worth taking when desire outweighs fear. Watch her reactions when you succeed or show competence. It's not admiration alone. It's relief. Relief that her attraction is justified. Women are deeply attuned to choosing well. When she wants you, she looks for confirmation that wanting you is safe. There's also a physical signal most men misread. She maintains proximity without escalation. She sits closer, stands within your personal space, but doesn't force touch. This restraint is desire under discipline. She's letting tension build rather than collapse into immediacy. Pay attention to how she exits interactions. A woman who craves you doesn't disappear abruptly. She softens the ending. She signals continuation. Even goodbye carries warmth. Closure matters to her because the connection matters. Here's the truth few men accept. When a woman wants you deeply, she becomes more feminine, not more aggressive. She invites rather than pursues. She opens rather than pushes. If you mistake this softness for lack of interest and overcompensate, you break the spell. Stay grounded. Let the connection breathe. Craving grows when it's respected, not interrogated. And when you honor her emotional pacing, you position yourself as the man she feels safe wanting, without apology or fear. You might feel her checking in subtly, asking how your day really was. Not as small talk, but as data. She's tracking your emotional patterns, learning your rhythms. Women don't do this casually. It's an investment of attention, and attention is the most honest currency of desire. Here's where many men make a mistake. When they sense this shift, they speed up. They try to lock things down, but craving is still forming. It needs space to deepen, not pressure to define. If you rush, she retreats not because she doesn't want you, but because she wants to feel safe wanting you. Watch how she respects your autonomy. She doesn't guilt you for your priorities. She doesn't compete with your purpose. Instead, she aligns with it emotionally. This alignment is rare, and it's a strong indicator that her attraction isn't surface level. Craving at this stage is quiet, powerful, and fragile. If you remain centered, consistent, and emotionally grounded, it continues to grow. If you chase reassurance, it collapses. The difference is not luck, it's emotional leadership. The sixth hidden sign is perhaps the hardest to see because it hides in silence and subtlety. When a woman secretly craves you, she speaks with her absence as much as her presence. You'll notice moments where she doesn't reach out immediately, not out of disinterest, but because her desire is self-contained. She's letting it simmer, observing your reactions, testing the emotional gravity without words. Men often mistake this for coldness. It's not. It's the most honest form of longing, controlled, deliberate, and quietly intense. Watch her energy around you in group settings. She may laugh a little louder at your jokes, lean slightly closer than necessary, or maintain eye contact just a fraction longer. These micro moments aren't accidents. They're emotional breadcrumbs. Her subconscious is revealing her interest, even when her conscious mind says, "Don't make it obvious." Most men miss this because they're looking for extremes, not the nuanced signals of desire. You may also notice how she reacts to your touch, even casual, incidental contact. A brush of the hand, a tap on the shoulder, a shared gesture. Her body remembers and subtly reciprocates later. She mirrors your movements, your posture, even your breathing rhythm. This synchronization happens only when her nervous system is drawn to yours. It's not flirtation, it's resonance. She craves the energy you emit, not just your physical presence. Another crucial sign appears in conversations about other people. She doesn't casually compare you to anyone else. She rarely mentions other men's attention because her focus is quietly singular. When a woman craves you, other men fade into the background. They exist, but they do not matter. Her mind and heart track your actions, your moods, your presence. Pay attention to the emotional weight of her small gestures. A message sent at just the right moment. A concern expressed without expectation. A laugh shared that lingers longer than normal. Desire communicates in these details, not in declarations. If you learn to feel these signals rather than chase louder signs, you'll start recognizing a woman's hidden craving. Finally, notice how she protects her feelings around you. She may avoid vulnerability too early, but every restraint is deliberate. She's testing your stability, your patience, your capacity to value her without pushing or demanding. If you respond with calm, consistency, and respect, the craving she's hiding will eventually surface fully, like a tide she's been holding back, ready to reveal itself when the timing feels completely safe. The seventh hidden sign is almost invisible because it lives in emotional intensity, not obvious actions. When a woman secretly craves you, her emotions become sharper around you. Joy is brighter, frustration is deeper, even her curiosity carries weight. You may notice that small interactions, like a simple conversation or a shared laugh, linger in your mind long after they happen. That's intentional. She's leaving emotional traces because desire is as much about imprinting as it is about attraction. Pay close attention to how she reacts when you share personal struggles. Not pity, not distraction, but real, grounded engagement. She absorbs your emotional state and reflects it back with subtle understanding. This is a powerful sign because women don't expend emotional energy on men they feel nothing for. Craving demands investment, and this is one of the clearest signals you'll ever receive. You'll also notice her energy shifts when you leave. She doesn't overcompensate with attention or dramatics. Instead, she holds a quiet tension, a pull that lingers in her posture, her gaze, even the way she positions herself. You may feel it as an undercurrent. It's almost imperceptible, unless you're attuned, but it's there. Another key indicator is how she frames her stories. She may reference moments where you were involved without making it obvious. Shared experiences become a subtle pattern of we in her mind, even if she doesn't speak it aloud. This internal narrative signals that she's imagining a connection beyond the present moment. Observe her subtle testing of your boundaries. She may lightly tease, challenge your decisions, or probe your reactions, but always in ways that reveal interest, not hostility. Women do this instinctively to see if you are someone safe to desire. Your response to these small tests often determines whether her craving intensifies or recedes. Lastly, notice her patience. Desire isn't frantic. She doesn't need immediate validation. She can sit in the tension of wanting, waiting for the right rhythm, watching your consistency, evaluating your confidence. This patience is one of the strongest signs of hidden attraction because it reflects emotional maturity and a deep, unspoken pull. If you can read these subtle emotional patterns and respond with awareness, calm, and respect, you'll unlock a level of connection most men never notice. Craving isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, controlled, and simmering, yet infinitely more powerful than anything overt. The eighth hidden sign is the culmination of all the subtle cues you've been observing. It's presence without pressure. When a woman secretly craves you, she creates space for you in her world without demanding you occupy it fully yet. She shows up consistently in ways that feel effortless, a message that isn't urgent but matters, a laugh shared at the perfect moment, a gaze that lingers just long enough to make you notice. This isn't coincidence, it's desire expressed with discipline and emotional intelligence. Notice how she balances attention and absence. She won't bombard you with contact, yet when she does reach out, her energy is intentional. Every word, every gesture is curated to connect without suffocating. Men often misread this as indifference or game playing, but it's far more sophisticated. She's testing your patience, your stability, your ability to receive without demanding more. Emotional craving grows quietly under these conditions. Her body language continues to tell the story. Slight lean-ins, mirrored gestures, lingering glances, even her tone carries a softness or subtle tension when she's around you. These are signs that her nervous system is tuned to yours. Desire is neurological as much as emotional. It's not about bold moves, it's about resonance, chemistry, and timing. You may also notice her prioritizing emotional safety above everything else. She communicates carefully, avoids unnecessary conflict, and protects both her feelings and yours. She wants the connection to feel secure before allowing passion or vulnerability to fully surface. Craving deepens in safety, not in drama. The stronger her trust, the stronger her pull. Another critical indicator is her imagination. She begins to picture moments with you, not just the present, but potential shared experiences, casual what-if statements, references to things you might do together, or subtle reminders of shared interests. These aren't casual thoughts. They're mental rehearsals of intimacy and closeness. Finally, the most powerful sign is the tension between her desire and restraint. She wants to move closer, yet she holds back. That tension is magnetic. It draws you in, challenges you, and creates emotional investment that superficial attraction can never match. If you respect her pace, stay grounded, and provide stability rather than chase validation, her craving will fully surface. Remember this: real attraction isn't loud, chaotic, or immediate. It's quiet, deliberate, and emotionally intelligent. If you've been paying attention, you can feel it in the moments she chooses to show up, in the small gestures, the pauses, the subtle mirroring, and the emotional gravity she carries. Master this awareness, and you will recognize not just when a woman desires you, but why she chooses to reveal it only to the man capable of understanding it.